The rain fell in silver sheets that night, washing the city clean, except for the two figures huddled under a torn piece of cardboard near the corner of Lexington and 8th. Malik and Mason, twin brothers no older than 19, sat close together, their clothes soaked, their hands trembling from the cold. They hadn't eaten since yesterday. But despite the hunger and the ache in their bones, Malik's voice was steady when he whispered, "We'll make it through, bro. We always do." That's when Mason's eyes caught something. A black leather wallet, lying half buried in the puddle by the sidewalk. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you were watching from. I love knowing who is listening. Mason picked it up carefully, flipping it open. Inside was a thick stack of $100 bills, a black credit card, and a golden business card engraved with the name Arthur Sterling, Sterling Industries. The twins froze. They had seen that name before on the giant billboards downtown. Arthur Sterling was a billionaire, one of the richest men in the city. Mason's hands shook. "We could eat for months," he whispered. "Just one bill could change everything." But Malik shook his head slowly, eyes filled with quiet conviction. "That's not ours. We give it back." Mason stared at his brother, part of him angry, part of him ashamed. The temptation burned in his chest. He thought of the freezing nights, the hunger, the hopeless job rejections. Yet he also remembered how their late mother had raised them. "You, Dan T, need money to be rich. You need a soul that's clean." And so, with empty stomachs, but full hearts, the brothers made their way across town to the glittering towers where Arthur Sterling lived. By morning, the city had changed color, sunlight hitting glass, limousines gliding past, people in suits rushing to their day. The twins stood at the entrance of the marble skyscraper, earning uneasy glances from the doorman. Their clothes were ragged, their shoes muddy. "Can we see Mr. Sterling?" Malik asked softly. The guard frowned. "Do you have an appointment?" Mason hesitated. "No, sir. But we found something that belongs to him." Minutes later, an assistant appeared, skeptical, polite, and visibly uncomfortable as she eyed their appearance. Yet when Malik handed her the wallet, her expression shifted instantly. She rushed upstairs. What followed was a silence so long it felt like the building itself was holding its breath. Then, the elevator doors opened. Arthur Sterling stepped out tall, silver-haired, and dressed in a tailored suit that probably cost more than the twins had ever seen in their lives. His eyes scanned them from their soaked shoes to their worn-out jackets. "You found this?" he asked, holding up the wallet. "Yes, sir," Malik replied. "Didn't want to keep it." The billionaire studied them for a moment. "Do you know how much cash was in here?" Mason nodded. "A lot." Arthur's lips pressed into a thin line. "And you didn't take a single dollar?" "No, sir. Our mama didn't raise us like that," Malik said quietly. For a long moment, Arthur said nothing. Then his voice softened, almost trembling. "You boys remind me of my sons." He looked down, swallowing hard. "They stopped speaking to me years ago. Too much money. Too little heart." The room fell silent. Even the assistant looked away, blinking back emotion. Arthur turned back to them. "Come upstairs with me." They hesitated, but followed. Inside his penthouse, sunlight poured through the glass walls, glinting off priceless art and marble floors. Yet, amid all that wealth, the air felt heavy with loneliness. Arthur poured 3 cups of coffee and sat with them like equals. "Tell me your story," he said. Malik told him everything. The eviction, their mother's passing, the nights under bridges, the job rejections. Because no one wanted to hire 2 homeless black kids. His voice cracked, but he didn't ask for pity. He just spoke the truth. By the time he finished, Arthur's eyes were red. He rose slowly and walked to the window, staring down at the city that adored him, a city that never saw faces like Malik and Mason S. Then he turned. "I built companies, empires, but I lost sight of people. You two reminded me what real wealth looks like." He reached for his phone and made a single call. Within an hour, 2 suits arrived, lawyers. In front of the stunned twins, Arthur signed papers on the spot. "I'm starting a new community initiative," he said. "Housing, jobs, mentorship. It begins with you two." Mason's jaw dropped. "You mean—"
Arthur
smiled faintly. "You've already passed the test life gave you. Now let's see what you can build when someone finally believes in you. Months later, Moloch and Mason stood in front of a newly opened auto workshop, their names shining on the glass. Twin Star Mechanics, sponsored by Sterling Industries. Reporters gathered, cameras flashed, and in the crowd, Arthur Sterling stood quietly at the back, smiling like a proud father. When the twins spotted him, they rushed over. Malik hugged him tightly. "You didn't just give us a chance," he said. "You gave us back our faith in people." Arthur's eyes glistened. "No, boys, you gave me mine." The crowd erupted in applause, not for money or fame, for decency, honesty, and the rare light that still burns in the darkest corners of humanity. 'Cause kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And sometimes it's returned by two brothers who had nothing, except a heart worth more than any billionaire's wallet. If this story touched your heart, tell us where you're watching from, and share it with someone who believes in doing the right thing. Subscribe to Cinematic Whispers for more stories that prove the smallest act of honesty can change the biggest lives.